Welcome back to the Wrestle Rewind, where we are now up to July of 1996, and we're going to start nicely with July 1st of 1996. And as always, we will start with Nitro. And to start, the announcers are discussing the match against the Outsiders at Bash in the Beach. And as they're talking, Diamond Dallas Page walks up to the announce table, and he says his Lord of the Ring has been stolen. He says he wants the whole place searched, and he is not happy.
So he wants the building shut down and everyone strip searched.
Somehow I think that's going to be difficult there, DDP.
Yeah. He has not believed in anybody.
Everybody is a suspect. Even the fans will see. But
Shivani also, after DDP leaves, he mentions that Hall and Nash are here tonight, but still no word on a third man. And then this is the first time Zbyszko mentions that Sunday will bring a new world order.
Yeah, because he said on Sunday there will be a new world order. I was like,
no, I wish he didn't say that.
But this is our first time getting it mentioned, so it's coming, people. We'll get into the good stuff for WCW here soon. But the first match for Nitro is going to be the Steiner Brothers versus Harlem Heat, and this is for the WCW Tag Team Championship. And the Harlem Heat are the tag team champions. And during the match, we do see Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen at their VIP table, and they're watching the match. It must be nice to be the Nature Boy. And then later on during the match, we also see Colonel Rob Parker come to the ring, and we're going to be starting storyline there. But as for the match, Scott Steiner hits the Frankensteiner on Booker T, and he goes for a pin, but Stevie Ray breaks it up. I always got to mention when a Frankensteiner's hit because it's always a thing of beauty. And Rick Steiner later on hits a mid-rope bulldog on Booker T. Then they go for their top rope bulldog finisher that they do, where Colonel Parker makes Rick Steiner slip, and then he hits Rick Steiner with his cane, and then Booker T covers him for the win.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme for Harlem Heat throughout 96.
Yeah, it does get a bit repetitive, which, I mean, that comes with the theme with the NWO later on, too. But sometimes having a clean finish is okay, guys. Sometimes it is. And we know when you have heel managers, they're always going to get involved, but, like, the finishes are always kind of similar with the Harlem Heat matches.
Booker T and Stevie Ray actually need help to win matches. They're big guys.
So after this, we do go to an after-match interview with the Four Horsemen at the VIP table. Arn says they run the professional wrestling world and says this is the first time since the mid-'80s that the Horsemen are united and on a roll. And Mongo then gets on. He says that everyone is asking him, how could he do it? How could he betray Kevin Green, his friend? He says, money makes the monkey dance. And that's essentially it. Flair ends it with asking Macho Man, what is he going to do about it? They're just trying to sell us that the Four Horsemen are back together, united and strong. And then Jacob's favorite thing, we get another Glacier vignette coming on right after that.
This is 10 weeks.
He's coming, and Jacob says he's coming July 1996, and we're in July.
Not going to happen.
But for the next match for WCW, we have Disco Inferno versus Kurosawa. Haven't seen Kurosawa in a while, and I don't know if this is the last time we see him.
This is the last time.
Yep, so it was nice knowing you, Kurosawa. But before this match, Disco gets on the mic and says he knows everyone wants to see the Disco Inferno dance. So then he asks the crowd if they want to see the dance. They boo, but Disco, and that's not going to stop him. He does it anyway. He tells it back to hit his music. But instead, Kurosawa music plays, and then he comes out. But as for the match, there is a comedy spot in here. It's Disco goes out of the ring in frustration, and he kicks the ring steps, but he hurts his foot.
Yeah, see, Disco was always a quality jobber.
Yeah. I know he gets a lot of bad rep online these days, but he played his role well, so.
I was like, Kurosawa hits a Samoan drop, but then Disco's music hits, and out comes an Elvis impersonator. And then the disco ball comes down, and as the ref is dealing with this fake Elvis guy, Disco hits Kurosawa with the disco ball and then gets the pin. So, a very rare, at least at this point, very rare Disco win.
I was happy to see him win, especially, like we said, against someone who isn't going to be there, so they don't have to protect him. So at least they finally gave him a win here.
Honestly,
not that they do much with it.
I don't think Disco has won since then.
But those are the first two matches for Nitro, so let's go ahead and go over to Raw, where we open up with Marty Jannetty with Leif Cassidy versus Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario. And Shawn Michaels comes out again holding the click cam, because, you know, we got to get that over. And Cornette is joining Jannetty at ringside. They're not together, but Cornette is having issues with Shawn Michaels, so he's getting involved here.
Well, they do. They also talk about their, the history between the two, obviously.
See, this could have been a big match for them, but they've done such a poor job, or maybe Marty Jannetty has done such a poor job getting over that it's essentially a jobber versus superstar match, Even with the history, yeah, like you said, there's no doubt who's going to win. But let's get to the end of it because it's not the most interesting thing. Shawn Michaels wins with the Sweet Chin music, obviously. And then after the match, Leif Cassidy attacks Shawn, but Shawn dodges it and hits Cassidy with a sweet chin music. But then also after Shawn gets done with Leif Cassidy, a Cornette goes to hit Shawn Michaels, but luckily Jose Lothario's there and he socks Jim Cornette.
Cornette always like sells it the same way. He always like spreads his arms out and then does a back bump. It's so funny.
Yep, that's that. So this will not be the last time Jose Lothario and Jim Cornette have physical confrontation, unfortunately. And with Raw being an hour, once again, we're going to go back to Nitro and go to our third match, which is Scotty Riggs versus Diamond Dallas Page. And DDP comes out grabbing someone backstage looking for his ring. Like I said, he's checking everyone's pockets. And he starts checking everyone at ringside, like the bellkeeper and all that sort of stuff. He checks all of them. He wants that damn ring back. And then we cut to a Hacksaw pre-recorded video that airs during DDP's entrance where he says he doesn't wear jewelry. And if he did, he wouldn't have stolen DDP's ring because all Hacksaw does is carry a 2x4 and wrist tape. So he should look for someone else to blame. Tough guy.
Tough guy.
Eventually the match starts and DDP hits a nice looking clothesline on Riggs and then like a pump handle backbreaker. You don't see that too often.
No.
We see DDP hit a reversal Diamond Cutter for the win. And then after the match, he checks his fallen foe's pockets afterwards. I thought that was funny. And DDP tells the camera that no one can beat him for the ring, so they have to steal it.
Mean Gene then interviews DDP, who's acting annoyed. Says people in WCW are jealous of him. And then he talk about the Tate Fist match with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. As the promo's over, he starts to check the pockets of Okerlund. It's just funny.
So we have that. So then the next match we have is a blast from the past, Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Macho Man Randy Savage. And I believe this is the first time we see Greg Valentine on WCW, at least during this run. I think he's been on WCW before.
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah, so I just don't feel like Greg Valentine fits this era of wrestling.
When you think 96 WCW, you don't think of Rock and Roll Express or Greg Valentine.
And you're talking, he is debuting essentially 6 days before the NWO forms. That just does not feel like a fit.
No.
I will mention this. Macho Man, he is wearing Sting's face paint just to show the unity with Team WCW. Yep, before their big main event match.
Larry on commentary suggests that Valentine could be the third man.
Could you imagine the reaction if that happened?
Bro, there's no way that was even a thought.
No.
So near the end of this match, this is near the end of the first hour of Nitro, so they get the countdown. So what you can clearly see is they're trying to set up to where the pin goes off right as the timer hits, and they do a pretty good job over that. But Valentine goes back on offense, then hits like a backdrop or something, but he stays down as if he took the damage from the backdrop. And then Savage gets up, hits the elbow drop for the three. Very clunky finish. They did time it sort of correctly, but the way they got there was horrendous.
Yeah, I think they maybe were running out of time in that spot. He's like,
yeah, no, they rushed. They rushed. Yeah, they definitely rushed it.
They just want to get the fireworks while Macho Man was celebrating after the match.
Boom, power goes off, second hour begins. So.
And we see that Bischoff is here for the first time since Great American Bash.
Then it cuts to Nash and Hall ringside with popcorn.
Yeah, and Bischoff does say Kevin Nash's name for the first time, so we do get him officially named Kevin Nash on this episode. And then Bischoff yells at the production team to get them out of here. But they have a right to be there, Jacob. Nash shows the WCW security their ticket stubs, so they purchase it, so legally they're allowed to be there.
Well, they want to watch the show.
Yeah, Nash even tells the camera that they came to watch the big boys play. All right, so that is 4 matches of Nitro. So let's go to the second match for Raw. And we have Duke the Dumpster Droese versus Mankind.
For the match, they show a recap from Superstars of when Sonny gets slot by Phineas. So that was, they're still doing that storyline.
I think that slot spot should have been on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do we have to waste time with the Dukes or Dumps of Droese match? Jake the Snake is joining us on commentary. This match is mainly dominated by the banter between Jerry the King Lawler and Jake the Snake. Yeah, so during that, I was paying more attention to them going back and forth than the actual match itself.
They go at it.
I don't have exactly what King was saying on here, but he goes in on Jake the Snake's drinking habits, his drug problems.
So basically, he keeps bad-mouthing about his drinking, but then at one point, he does tell Jake he better hurry up or he'll miss his last call. They did a good job of making it seem like it was kind of like shoot personal between the two, so...
We all know Mankind wins this match. He wins with the Mandible Claw. It's not a great match. Again, we're focused on the actual commentary. And like you said, after the match, King slaps Jake the Snake. And then Jake starts choking King until Mankind comes and puts the mandible claw on Jake. And then King joins in while Jake the Snake's down, and he puts some boots to him. So this match wasn't about even building Mankind. It was about setting up Jerry the King Lawler versus Jake the Snake. But yeah, I mean, I thought the commentary was good doing this, really good setting up that match between Jake the Snake and King. It's just, how exciting is that match going to be? So let's go back to Nitro because Raw only has one more match. The fifth match for Nitro is John Tenta versus the Giants with Jimmy Hart.
Why does Tenta have a title match? Who knows? Beating Big Bubba must carry a lot of weight.
He beat him twice, Jacob. But Tenta is still coming out with a ridiculous half-shaped head.
Bischoff, even on commentary, says it's terrible and says whatever works for him. So I'm like, Bischoff kind of already buried him at that point. It is stupid, though. It really is.
It is really. Maybe it could have done for 1 week, but this is just absurd. WCW has also added some security guards in front of the Outsiders, and it should be noted that there is an empty seat in between Hall and Nash, which is their way of referencing the third man. Who is the third man?
Yeah, they kind of teased that he could also appear tonight since he has the chair.
Spoiler alert, they don't.
Yeah,
you knew that. But to the match, Tenta tries to get the Giant down with a headbutt, no avail. We also see, did Tenta hit a drop kick in this match?
He does hit a drop kick. I was just about to mention. So it's just, he's pulling out the stops, man. After the drop kick, Jimmy Hart and Taskmaster come down to the ring and distract Tenta, which allows the Giant to get the chokeslam for the win. It was a slow match. I didn't mind it. I did not mind it.
And the chokeslam he hits on Tenta was actually pretty good looking.
96 might be the best year for Giant chokeslams.
Yeah, very impressive stuff.
It looks like it kills you.
But then to further continue the humiliation of John Tenta, Bubba comes out and shaves half of Tenta's beard. Again, I thought they did have potential with Tenta, especially if he was going to wrestle these style matches. If he had a shaved head and a beard, I think this would have gone somewhere. So after that whole deal, we get an after-match interview with the Dungeon of Doom. Jimmy Hart says what they did tonight is an example of what they're going to do to Benoit. Bubba asks Tenta, how much more humiliation can a man take? And he says, at Bash on the Beach, there will be more at stake. And apparently he starts talking about it's going to be like a coins on a pole match.
Carson City Silver Dollar match?
A Carson City Silver Dollar match. I'm so sorry. Giant gets his turn. He tells Tenta that his mistake was leaving the Dungeon of Doom, and he says to never cross them or the chokeslam is the price you pay.
So he said the mistake was leaving the Dungeon of Doom. He didn't leave. He got kicked out.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I'm like, y'all kicked him out. He was just mad about it. I will give Giant credit. He did say a word here that I'm about to say that I had to look up because I didn't know what it meant, so I learned a new word. He tells the Four Horsemen that he will always have the world title, and at the Bash at the Beach, the Four Horsemen will leave as 4 geldings, which I had to look that up. That means castrated animal.
I think it's more so a castrated horse, right?
Yes, it is more. Yes, it is more associated with a horse. Yes, which would fit with the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
But then the Taskmaster gets his turn, and he wastes everyone's damn time. And he starts his promo, and then he trails off without finishing what he was saying, and then he just leaves instead of finishing the promo. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Okay, yeah. Is this the one where he keeps looking to the crowd? It looks like he might be looking at the Outsiders. That's what I'm guessing he's looking at.
But to end this interview, the Giant tells the Horsemen if they think the Taskmaster is a weak link, then they are wrong. But again, that Kevin Sullivan thing took me out of it. I was like, dude, what the hell is going on? So really atrocious stuff there. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but after that, we do get a video of Rey Mysterio. It's just a hype package of him just showing his aerial moveset, his luchador style. But it is interrupted by the Outsiders who have found some microphones. Nash gets on there. He says it looks like they are taking over a little early and they're starting to approach the announce table. Security gets in their way as Team WCW members come out, and Nash tells them that they don't want any of this. And he says if that's the best they got, then that's not going to be enough because they're going to need a lot more than that. And as Nash and Hall are being escorted out of the building, Nash keeps repeating, Attica, Attica.
Yeah, big Al Pacino fan. Good afternoon for those that are curious. When the security goes to Nash, he pulls his arm away and says, get the fuck off me. And it's cool. You can hear it on the show. It's very funny. He dropped an F-bomb on live TV.
Mm-hmm. So I like this segment. It just further showed you that anything can happen. It's just starting to be kind of that Crash TV style that we know and love from the Attitude Era.
Peak 90s television.
Mm-hmm. And then before the main event, we do have a hacksaw Jim Duggan backstage interview. Hacksaw says he went to the toilet and saw the ring on the floor and he picked it up. And he's such a nice guy. He'll give it back to DDP because he wouldn't steal the ring because he wears a man size. He calls it a feminine ring, and he just, pretty much downplaying why DDP would like this thing.
Did you hear Mean Gene slip up and he called it King of the Ring instead of Lord of the Ring?
Oh, no, I didn't. I messed that up. No. But eventually DDP comes in and he calls Hacksaw a thief. Jim Duggan throws the ring at DDP and then he grabs some tape from his trunks and hits DDP with the tape fist. But this also just kind of further hyped up their tape fist match. If you were into that, this kind of just reminded you that match is happening. But Hacksaw to me just doesn't feel like he fits in with these times.
No, but you'll be seeing him all the way through the end.
But that is that. We are now on to the main event for both shows. And for the main event of Raw, we have Goldust with Marlena versus Mark Mero with Sable. And we also have Stone Cold on commentary. And this is not teasing anything in the immediate future, but when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is like the first time you see the tension between Stone Cold and Vince. Because Stone Cold at one point, he's talking, Vince cuts him off, and Stone Cold tells Vince that if he cuts him off again, he will hit him right between the eyes. And I think it's just funny that the WWF doesn't really know how big those two are going to be feuding against each other in the future.
And he says, I'm gonna whip your ass, son.
It's just funny seeing, like, y'all don't even know it yet, but this is going to be big time. As for the match, it's kind of a slow match. So Goldust does he does a lot of rest holds. It kind of drags. But the main thing with this match is the outside stuff with the women. Marlena starts looking at Sable, kind of sizing her up, kind of checking her out. Eventually she walks up to Sable, and Sable clearly does not want Marlena near her because who knows what her and Goldust want to do with her. Marlena then takes her cigar and blows smoke in Sable's face, which distracts Mark Mero, and this allows Goldust to hit a beautiful looking final curtain for the win. It's actually one of the best final curtains I've ever seen. So that was the end of Raw. Not the best Raw.
You could tell this is probably a show that was in the middle of the taping.
For sure. You can definitely tell. But let's go ahead and go to the main event of Nitro, which is the Rock and Roll Express and Joe Gomez and the Renegade versus the Four Horsemen. To start the match, all men are brawling. Mongo actually gets some cheers when he gets his turn in. And for the most part, Mongo's not the worst wrestler that he's deemed to be online. It's just that he always started off really rough because he got too excited. Wow. He does have some nice moves in his arsenal. So we just want to give him some props. He's not the best, but
it's a squash main event. They actually dominate Rock and Roll Express, Renegade, and Joe Gomez, as they should.
But then again, this shouldn't be your main event match.
Figure 4 to Renegade, maybe? I think. No. We do have to talk about the figure.
Yes.
So Renegade goes to the top rope to, I guess, do a splash on Flair, I think, but he just jumps and does a flip. Now, what was supposed to happen was Mongo was supposed to either toss the briefcase or hit Renegade, but the Renegade he just jumps without even looking to see if Mongo's in position. And so Mongo just has to chuck it. He does miss at the chuck. So it was just a complete cluster bleep of a spot. And Renegade sells it as if he did get hit. But they try to kind of go home to kind of cover it up. Ric Flair puts Renegade into figure 4, and that's the win. The crowd is kind of not knowing how to react after that because we all saw it. We all saw the botch. But to end Nitro, we do get an interview with the Four Horsemen. Mongo says this is his team now, and he would do whatever it takes to get to the next level. Benoit tells Kevin Sullivan the voice of experience didn't speak loud enough. I'm telling you, when these two start talking about each other, they make no damn sense. Then Flair goes on to talk about Conan because he has a match with Conan here at the Bash of the Beach for the U.S. title. And he tells Conan that whether he likes it or not, Flair will be the U.S. champ again. But the announcers, before we run out of time this week, and we cut the footage of Hall and Nash while they're being escorted out of the arena. But what's funny is, you got the smallest cop. He's, talking to Nash and, basically trying to intimidate Nash, and he looks so tiny. And Nash looks genuinely amused that this tiny guy is trying to intimidate him. Yeah, no, it's funny. He's like, you better pull out a gun if you're going to threaten me. Yeah. But the show just ends with them driving out the arena, and it just looking like the cool dudes in the room, So I think it was a good idea for WCW to not reveal the third man. It wouldn't have nearly as much impact to reveal it on the end of a Nitro episode. So everyone likes to crap on WCW, but they had a couple storylines that are long-term that they did pretty well. Now, the NWO stuff got watered down, but you can't say anything negative about it for the first year and a half, really. But that is the end of both shows. I think this one's obvious winner is WCW yet again for me. Yeah, WCW. And this is now the third week of the streak. So Nitro wins 3.3, 2.6. So the previous
Okay.
week was 3.3 to 2.7. This week 3.3 to 2.6.
But I mean, this one is it's just all boils down to the outsider stuff leading up to Bash at the Beach. I mean, that alone is better and more interesting than anything that happened on Raw. Just Nitro has more going on. It is a little unfair since they do have 2 hours compared to 1, but that's just the way it is. But we'll move on to July 7th of 1996, and it is Bash at the Beach. We have finally made it to Bash at the Beach. Huge show. Of course, the opening is promoting the major main event that we have tonight. With the main event being so huge, we kind of want to skip all these matches beforehand to get to it.
Yeah, but as WCW usually does, they start off with some high-flying action with Rey Mysterio and Psychosis.
Before you get to the match, I will just mention what the announcers talk about. They do mention that Bischoff is nowhere to be found. It's going to be a theme throughout, and we don't know where Bischoff is.
I like that. It's like, oh, they were actually setting up the siege for Bischoff even way back here.
Yeah, when you look back, it's like, wow, they were really kind of planning that from the get-go.
Yeah, which is nice. I like that it wasn't a hot shot just because Bischoff wanted to be one of the boys.
Yep. But I'll let you get into the match.
All right, so basically the match starts off. Psychosis. Rey Mysterio goes for a handshake. Psychosis. He doesn't go for the handshake. He slaps Rey across the face. Commentary does say Psychosis has had quite a rivalry with Rey Mysterio, like in Mexico, where he just couldn't beat Mysterio. So that plays into the reason why he's disrespectful to Rey.
That had to be Tanae that said that, won't Dusty or Tony.
Psychosis hits a spinning heel kick, which takes Rey Mysterio to the floor, and then he does a suicide dive. Then he brings him in the ring and does a beautiful diving leg drop. It is very picturesque. So that was nice.
There's a spot where Rey Mysterio hits a Hurricanrana to the outside, and that thought it looked beautiful.
Psychosis, Rey Mysterio, this is a match that you definitely go your way to see. There's also a spot where he brings him back on the apron. Like Psychosis charges at Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's laying on the ring apron. Rey Mysterio then puts his legs up and kind of monkey flips Psychosis onto the pole. There was a pole for the Carson City Silver Dollar match between Tenta and Big Bubba.
They gave these two a lot of time.
It goes 15 minutes. Most of the time on Nitro, you'll get most matches will run under 10 minutes. A lot of them even under 5. Their philosophy I'm taking was they basically want to show you as many people as you can, and then you see the match quality on the pay-per-views. The finish of this match, Psychosis looks to do Splash Mountain, but Rey counters it mid-move to a Hurricanrana for the win.
I was floored when I saw that. I was like, dude, that was so smooth.
It was buttery smooth. Most of the offense during this match is just absolutely smooth.
But like you said, this was a major match for WCW's history because this is kind of the match where people started taking this division more seriously because this is just a type of quality of match that we will come to expect from them, and it's always good stuff. So they become crowd favorites. A lot of these cruiserweights become huge crowd favorites.
Yeah, a lot of the pay-per-views and even Nitros, the fans looking forward to the openers a lot because it's usually the cruiserweights. There's a reason why people remember the cruiserweight division very fondly for WCW.
Okay, so good stuff here, but we'll move on. Next, we have a backstage interview with Conan. Mean Gene asks Conan about the Horseman's number advantage, and Conan says if Flair's managers get in the ring, he'll cripple them. If one of the women get in the ring, he'll clothesline them, and if one of the football players gets involved, he'll shoulder block them. He says he's worked too hard for the title just to lose it. But we'll go to the next match. The second match is the Carson City Silver Dollar match.
Silver Dollar match. Basically, it's like a sock of quarters that's hanging from the side, and whoever gets it can use it. WCW, the pole matches weren't just the Russo thing. They were doing them even back here.
The competitors for this are, of course, Big Bubba with Jimmy Hart versus John Tenta. And Tenta, yet again, he's coming out with a half mustache, half shaved head. Ridiculous. And the crowd is not into this match to start. And when you see this match and the competitors that are there, the pole is too high and the silver dollars are way too high up. Well,
I was like, how are these guys?
For dang sure that these two guys are not going to be able to climb up there. And when you see the ending of this match, yeah, they're not getting up there.
Yeah, I'm glad they went the way they did because I was worried about either man climbing. I was like, that no way the pole can support either one of these guys' weight.
So yeah, that kind of stuck out when the match first started. But Bubba gets his belt and he chokes Tenta with it, and then he tapes Tenta to the ring rope. He then wraps the belt around his hand and starts punching Tenta with it numerous times, and then whips him around as well, and then he starts choking him some more. So while Tenta's down, Bubba gets the scissors that he brought with him, and he cuts some more of his hair. But then Tenta low blows Bubba, and then he grabs the scissors to cut himself free. Tenta goes for the silver dollars on the pole, but Bubba hits him with a spine buster. And then Bubba yells at Jimmy Hart to get the coins. And I got to tell you, Jacob, I did not know Jimmy Hart was going to get up there. He got up there
spry.
quick.
He got there quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think Jimmy Hart had the strength to pull himself up there. But yeah, he gets up there quick. He gets the coins. And like you said, the stipulation is supposed to be whoever gets the coins can use it, but it doesn't really work out that way because as Hart is getting the coins, John Tenta gets up and he takes care of Bubba. And then he waits for Jimmy Hart to get down. And then as Jimmy Hart gets down, Tenta grabs the coins from him. And then he hits Bubba right in the mouth for the win. Afterwards, Tenta dumps the coins on Bubba. And then I did like this touch. He then put a silver dollar over both of his eyes.
I did like that, yeah.
The match is not great, but I did like the ending. After that, we do get a backstage interview with Team WCW, which again is Sting, Macho Man, and Lex Luger. Macho Man says he doesn't care who the third man is. Luger says they are prepared, and he says the Outsiders have talked trash about WCW, but he is honored to represent WCW. Sting gets his turn. He says the unknown makes him a nervous wreck, and it gives him goosebumps. But he says it does the same to his teammates, and they are a team, and they are ready to go.
I mean, they painted their faces.
Yep, all Sting face paint. I gotta tell you, I think Macho Man pulls off. Lex Luger doesn't really pull off the face paint so well.
Luger looks ridiculous in the face paint.
Yeah, I agree. But third match, we get Diamond Dallas Page versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a Lord of the Ring tape fist match. So again, this is all because DDP lost his ring, but it was found thanks to Hacksaw. There's one spot I have in here. At one point during this match, again, it's not a great match, but DDP headbutts Duggan, and apparently, I don't know if you knew this, Jacob, Duggan must be part Samoan because DDP took most of the damage.
I also took that as like Duggan's
I think
character is
Duggan's a caveman.
Exactly, he's more caveman, so it kind of I did not mind it.
Yeah, and cavemen, I think they said have thicker skulls, so maybe Duggan's part caveman.
To finish, basically, Hacksaw clotheslines Page and sends him over the ropes. Hacksaw throws him back in, but as Hacksaw is entering the ring, he gets a kick to the section of the Diamond Cutter for the win. Now, commentary mentions after he hits the Diamond Cutter that no one gets up from the Diamond Cutter. But after the 3 count, Hacksaw gets up almost immediately.
Yeah, he gets up immediately. He takes up his fist and punches DDP. Yeah, my note on that, I just said, ugh. But yeah, this is definitely the worst match of the 3 matches we've had so far.
Oh, for sure.
But next, we do have a backstage interview with the Giant, Taskmaster, and Jimmy Hart. Kevin Sullivan says if they think he is the weak link in the Dungeon of Doom, they can ask the Giant. The Giant says Sullivan is the backbone of the Dungeon of Doom. And what annoyed me during this is that while the Giant's speaking, we get Sullivan doing his stupid shaking his eyes, saying, I hate it.
Like, he looks ridiculous.
Giant continues on. He says he is elite and will always be the champion. And if the Horsemen want to come after Sullivan and his home turf, then the Dungeon of Doom is going to have some horse stew.
Got him.
And then after this, we get a ramp interview with Chris Benoit and Arn Anderson. We get to hear their response to this.
Lee Marshall. Now, I want to say I brought up Lee Marshall because I was looking online. Like, apparently a lot of people don't like Lee Marshall, so I didn't understand that.
He's got a velvety voice.
Yeah, I like his voice, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Whatever. He don't have heat with us.
No.
So Arn, before he addresses the promo from the Giant and the Dungeon of Doom, he wants to talk about the Outsiders. He tells them that they are going to find a tougher road tonight. And he says if they survive, then they can try to come after them next. And then he moves back onto the Dungeon of Doom. He says if they chop the Giant down in half, then he is only 3'6", which I guess you're right. But Benoit says the Horsemen have tolerated the dungeon for far too long, and tonight they will finish off what Sullivan started, and they will leave Sullivan for dead. If only that was true, Benoit. And then he tells the Giant that he gave the Horsemen another shot to reign supreme in the WCW. And he says that because, as we mentioned, if the Horsemen win this match, then the Horsemen get a title shot, and of course that title shot will go to Ric Flair.
So the next match is a double dog collar match with Public Enemy versus Nasty Boys. Now, my main gripe about this match is they show 2 screens, but they don't do a split screen per se. They give you these tiny, stupid squares, and most of the screen is taken away by a Bash at the Beach logo. And so you having to squint. Yeah. I can't imagine people with CRTVs, what they saw, like with the 30-inch CRTVs. You had to squint to see the action.
Yeah, but Jake, I would say the interesting thing with this match, though, is that for Bash at the Beach, they have that stand display, and eventually, of course, they start brawling. They make their way over there, and I think Rock takes a flip off the top of that, and it's not a small drop onto that rampway.
And it didn't look like there was a lot of like sand there, so I think he took it on the concrete.
That's like a Mick Foley sacrificing your body spot right there. But this match does drag on. You can tell the crowd's getting a little bored of it. But the ending sees Rock gets clotheslined by the chain.
Shivani commentary pretty much summed my thoughts for this match. He said after the match, he's like, "What a mess!" I'm like, if I could actually see the action, if they show split screen, it's like only a third, not even half the screen you can see because most of it's taken up by like a logo.
But after this match, we do cut backstage to Mean Gene. He is in front of the Outsider's door, and he's trying to see who the third man is. And there's a security team blocking him, so we don't go anywhere with this. Where Gene says he's going to try to find out who the third man is, and he'll report back to us later. But our fifth match is Disco Inferno versus Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight title. And of course, before the match, Disco gets on the mic and he says everyone came to see the Disco Inferno dance. And he says after he beats Mr. Personality and wins the title, everyone is welcome to the Disco dance party. But Malenko comes out. He is not a fan of Disco's shtick. And he slaps Disco to start the match. And he works over Disco for a while, applying different wrestling holds. That's just kind of his MO at this point. But for the match, I actually think this was a good match to showcase Disco a little bit. They actually made him have a competitive match.
Yeah, Disco got more offense than I thought.
This was definitely the most they've given Disco in a match because he's been treated like a joke. This is the first time they took him kind of seriously. But Malenko eventually wins this one with the Texas Cloverleaf. Yeah, again, I thought this was a good match. But next we have a match
no one asked to see on pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It is Joe Gomez versus Mongo McMichael, which is kind of funny when you put these two up against each other because Joe Gomez looks like a smaller.
They look similar. They look like the same person, dude.
Yes, Gomez looks like a less in shape Mongo.
Yeah, it's like very similar body type too.
One thing I've noticed on this is during Mongo's entrance, they show one of the cameras that that they're using for the show, and it's covered with a crab claws.
Yeah, they kept panning over to the crab.
I don't know what the deal is. I just thought it looked ridiculous.
Yeah, this match shows really nothing to write home about.
This match has some awkward moments. You have two wrestlers who aren't great. And again, Mongo is just starting out wrestling. It's only his second match on WCW. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a bad outing from Mongo.
I would say it's a bad outing for both of them.
No, but Mongo does get good crowd reactions. I mean, people do care. He's not like out there getting X-Pac heat.
Mongo does get better. So, but yeah, Tombstone on Joe Gomez for the win and a mercifully short match.
Yeah.
But it cuts to Meiji in an interview with Ric Flair. Flair said he is ready to sing La Cucaracha when he faces Conan. I was like, that won't go over well today.
Oh, and also Flair during this, he says they say Conan is the man with 1,000 holes.
Yeah, I'm sure Dean Malenko was not happy.
Right after he misattributes that moniker, he then says he has the most knowledge of the sport. I'm like, but you just messed up that line there, sir.
Yeah, it promises to win the U.S. title, and then he says he'll win the WCW title tomorrow. So now U.S. title match, we get Ric Flair versus the United States champion Conan.
Yeah, then Flair actually shakes Conan's hand before they start. That's not typical Flair MO. Maybe he's trying to get in his head.
So basically, it's a typical Flair match until they get to the ring apron. Conan sends Flair to the outside, and Flair is near Woman and Elizabeth. Conan goes to dive at Flair, and as he does that, he also slams into Elizabeth, and Elizabeth takes a tumble. And you can clearly tell Elizabeth was not ready for that. I don't know if she was intended to take a bump. It does not appear so.
No, I don't think so because the announcers do not mention her falling down whatsoever.
And there's another spot where Elizabeth is distracting the ref. Woman is on the other side of the ring. She takes off her shoe. She wants to hit Conan with it, but it takes forever for the spot to happen. It takes so long that even Ric Flair goes to the referee to distract him to buy more time, but it takes so long for a woman to finally hit Conan with the shoe.
Yeah, it did. It did. Before that, though, there was a spot with Flair distracting the ref, and Woman gets in the ring, and she kicked Conan in the groin, and the crowd really liked that one. The crowd really enjoyed that.
They did like that one. Anyway, after Woman smacks Conan with the shoe, Flair covers using the ropes and gets the 3, and now we have a new United States champion. Now we can finally see a United States champion on TV. And it's not Conan's fault. It's WCW.
No,
WCW shouldn't have even given him the title.
Well, they didn't do anything with them. Didn't put him in any interesting feuds. So while Ric Flair is the champion, so now we know they're not going to forget about Ric Flair. They may forget that he has the title and not feature it, but the title's going to be on TV. But yeah, like you, I was happy for this title change. So yeah, this was a welcome result.
After this, it cuts to Mean Gene, who's backstage, and he's at a door that says restricted area. He's saying he can hear the third man. He's saying the voice is something familiar, but it's muffled, so he can't put his finger on it. So they're telling you it's a voice that you know.
And Gene also mentions to them that he has not heard anything from Bischoff tonight. So we're playing this, where's Bischoff? What is he doing? But before the main event, we do have one more match. It is Chris Benoit and Arn Anderson versus Kevin Sullivan and the Giants with Jimmy Hart.
And remember, if Arn and Benoit win, the Four Horsemen / Flair gets a title shot against the Giant on Nitro.
And these two teams don't like each other, so Sullivan and Giant attack Benoit and Arn Anderson during their entrance. Mongo comes out because you ain't going to jump the Four Horsemen, and he hits the Giant with the briefcase. So Giant chases after Mongo, leaving Sullivan all alone against Arn and Benoit. Arn and Benoit, of course, take advantage of this numbers game for a little bit until the Giant comes back. And at one point, eventually, Benoit and Sullivan start brawling, and the brawling goes all the way to the crowd. While this is going on, of course, Giant is still facing off with Arn Anderson in the ring. Of course, that's not really going to work out well for Arn. So we didn't get the split screen view that you love so much.
I know, they did it again. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then during this, the Giant chokeslams Arn for the win as Sullivan and Benoit continue to fight on the outside. They brawl for so long, the Giant actually goes to the back, and we just focus on Benoit and Sullivan. And eventually they make their way back to the ring, and Benoit gets a superplex on Sullivan as woman comes out, and she's begging Benoit to stop beating up the Taskmaster.
They're building more into the real life aspect of it.
Eventually, the Giant comes back, and this forces Benoit to leave. But the announcers are asking themselves, why was woman telling Benoit to stop hurting Sullivan? In case anyone doesn't know, Nancy and Kevin Sullivan were married at this time. So that's why they're bringing these two into the fold. Yeah. The Giant comes back, and he carries Taskmaster out of the ring. How'd you feel about this match?
It's not often in wrestling you get it to where if you win this, you get a title shot. Usually that person's going to win. They did not win. So that's interesting. Too, it's the real start of the stuff with Benoit and Sullivan, which is unfortunate because they've already had their best match of the whole feud in Great American Bash, 96.
Yep. So this one is sit back, relax. This feud isn't ending anytime soon.
But now it's main event time. We get.
What did you think about the video package before the main event? I thought it could have been done a million times better.
It could have been done better, and I don't like the music because they also use the same music for Hall and Nash's intro. They don't get the typical NWO music that we know of. It's like very generic. Oh,
and we should have mentioned Hall and Nash come out without the third man.
Where's the third man?
We still don't know who it is. And the crowd is excited for their entrance. This is, of course, their first match for WCW. So the crowd, they're excited for it. This is something brand new. Gene comes out during the Outsiders' entrance, and he asks the Outsiders, who is the third man that we all want to know? Hall tells Scheme Gene he knows too much already, but all he needs to know is that the third man is here and he is ready. And Nash says they have enough to handle it right now with just the two of them. And of course, Team WCW comes out with all of Sting's face paint, and they come out to Sting's music. The match starts off with Hall and Lex Luger in the match, and of course we start off with Hall flicking a toothpick at Luger. So then Luger slaps Scott Hall, and the Team WCW clears the ring. It looks like Team WCW is starting pretty strong.
Nash grabs Luger. They're like in a turnbuckle tussling, so Sting uses that opportunity to get the Stinger Splash on Nash. But he also hits Luger. It looks like his head hits the post. He is down and out, and eventually EMTs even arrive and take Luger out on a stretcher.
Yeah, and this happens pretty early on.
Very early.
So now we are down to just 2-2. So I remember when before we started this, right? We knew what this match was, but me and you were talking about this match. We were like, I know Sting and Macho Man are in it, but I can't remember who the third guy for Team WCW was. And the reason is because he lasts maybe 5 minutes, maybe. And Scott Hall, he's a bastard. He stomps on Luger while he is being strapped to the stretcher.
I did that. That was nice heat.
So, and then Hall slaps Sting. He's still slapping all of Team WCW today. So Sting charges him and knocks Hall down.
Sting does a bunch of the face in peril until he eventually tags Savage. Savage does the hot offense. He gets shut down by Nash, I believe.
I think they structured this match well. They took the crowd for a journey because there were a couple of times in this match where Team WCW looked like they had a chance, which you knew they weren't going to win before then, but I think they did it well. It was kind of realistic. But we'll fast forward a little bit. Eventually what happens is Nash hits a low blow on Macho Man, and this happened after Macho Man hit a double sledge on Scott Hall. But eventually everyone is down in the ring, and then Hogan comes out, All right, so Hogan's coming out. We must be helping Team WCW because this is the ultimate good guy, right?
Paranoid Bobby Heenan, who always has said Hulk Hogan was a bad guy, wonders whose side Hogan is on.
Crowd is excited to see him because, again, we have not seen him for a while. He's going to help his dear friend Macho Man, who's on the ground.
So he gets to the corner, and then out of nowhere, he hits him with a leg drop. Oh, my God.
And to hear the reaction from the crowd, I mean, he had a lot of them hook, line, and sinker. They are just
if you look
flabbergasted.
at the video, you'll see a bunch of fans throw their hands in the air because it's like, heck, yes, we have been waiting for this.
But you can hear the reactions that a lot of them, like I said, some of them are happy, some of them are shocked, but there is a huge reaction when he hits that leg drop.
Hulk Hogan arrived. Hulk. What is he doing? My God, is he the third man?
And it also makes perfect sense that it's Hogan because Hall and Nash come from the WWF, who's known as the WWF guy.
It's a great job from them. Of course, he hits 2 more leg drops. This crowd is being worked into a frenzy here. Of course, then we get the official celebration between the now NWO members. Hall, Hogan, Nash start celebrating, shaking each other's hands.
I will say Hogan does not go for the cover. The match is thrown out. No one wins.
There's also something that they don't show you on the network. I found this out yesterday. Right before Macho Man gets carried out by Sting, a fan jumps into the ring and Hall and Nash put the boots to him. He was big mad at Hulk Hogan.
Oh, it must have been. Mean Gene comes in the ring because he's got to talk.
Oh, Jake, we should have mentioned that the crowd does not have. They are throwing all sorts of trash into the ring.
Tons of garbage. Mean Gene even talks about it. He's like, "Look at all this.
Look at all this garbage." But I love Hogan's like, the first thing you need to do, Gene, is tell all these people to shut up if they want to hear what I want to say. So of course, this is the ultimate baby face. You know, he doesn't talk this way to the fans.
Yeah. Hogan says this is a new world order of wrestling. Now, there are several other times where he mentions it in this promo. He does not say new world order. He says new world organization. That's just Hogan. He always mixes things up sometimes like that. Like the Silver Dome, you know?
Yeah, you know how it goes. I mean, he does mention WWF. He doesn't mention them by name, but he says, I made that company a lot of money. He essentially is saying that he became bigger than the WWF. And he then says he was promised a lot when he came to WCW, but now he is bored. So that is why he's joined up with Hall and Nash. He refers to them as the new blood of professional wrestling. He says they are not only there to take over the wrestling business, they are here to destroy everything in their path.
Yeah, basically Hogan goes on and saying for years he held his head up high and did everything for the fans, to charities for the kids, and this is the reception he gets. He's saying the fans, they're the issue why he turned, the fans can stick it.
He just is running down the fans, running down to WCW. He is saying he is bigger than professional wrestling. They want to take over the WCW and kill it.
Tony Schiavone acts real upset, and he says, Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
But of course, this is the
birth of
end
the NWO, one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. Obviously, you should check this out.
Without this, we're not getting the Attitude Era.
Truly gets Vince to get off his ass and start booking some good television, because 95 and most of 96 is an absolute shit show.
So yeah, no, the NWO had to happen. We watched it in the past without context. We've seen this match before, but I think watching this rewatch and getting all the context, watching the other stuff to give it more context kind of adds just another layer of excitement to it.
Bischoff says the original choice for the third member was Sting. I'm really glad they did not do that.
Yes, no, I don't know that would have worked. I listened to an interview with him talking about it. He says that they didn't even know who it was going to be relatively shortly before this. They just wasn't planned going in weeks before. Bischoff says he had to do a lot of convincing to Hogan to do this.
I bet.
Because Hogan, when it comes to Hollywood Hogan, he's just so cocky and arrogant. I just don't know if Sting could pull it off the way he can.
No. This is the boost that Hulk Hogan needed. And Hulk Hogan is no longer terrible babyface Hogan.
This was definitely a decent pay-per-view. I wouldn't say great, but with the ending makes it great.
It is definitely worth checking out for the ending on. The matches aren't so great.
But Jacob, compared to Slamboree and Uncensored, this is leagues. I mean, this isn't even the same. This isn't even the same wrestling.
This is like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, if you look at a 3-month span, 3 months ago, I believe was Uncensored. And now we're up to this. So, like, it's not that long of time to see Hogan from being absolute crap to now Hollywood Hogan, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that is the end of the pay-per-view.